Traversal in Marvel's Avengers is a little bit shoddy if we're being honest here. And for me, I think this is one of the places that the game can improve the most. You see, I fucking love Avengers and I could play it for a good amount of time, but I always end up getting a little bit bored, and for me, I think it's just because getting around the game isn't as fun as it could be. I say this a lot, and I'm going to say it again because I think it's incredibly relevant, especially to the topic, that if you can make your video game fun from the ground up, you have a head start on development. If you can make the lamest parts of your game the most interesting, you have a head start in places that most games will never even become good in at all. And Traversal is a huge example of how to do that, in my opinion. If getting from point A to point B is really incredibly fun, the rest of the game kind of falls into place around that core mechanic of moving, simply moving around. And in my opinion, the best example of a game that does Traversal really well in a way that makes it really engaging and enjoyable is SpiderMan on PS4. Just swinging around the city is the most fun part of that game. I could just swing around for hours and let time go by and wouldn't even faze me. In Marvel's Avengers, I can't just pick a hero and move around the city and have that be the fun part, because moving around the city isn't that engaging. Of course, a very key difference is the type of game that they are, that's true, but they do still both kind of have open world areas where you can go off and explore before you go to your main objective. And when I'm swinging around New York as Spider-Man and I see some crime and I go stop it and I find a backpack and I'm like, wow, that's cool, and then I go to the main story, and then, but on my way there I stop 7 more crimes and do 7 more side objectives. It's because I'm really engaged and I'm fine to just keep swinging around and doing my thing. And the way that Avengers handles that is kind of similar, where they have those little optional objectives. You go open a chest. It's just not as engaging to me, and going out of my way to go to those instead of just doing the main objective is much less appealing. Mostly because I don't enjoy moving around as much. Do you guys feel that? Is that just me? Am I going crazy here? Now let's take a look at how we do currently traverse the world of Marvel's Avengers, and how I think we can improve going forward. As Thor or Iron Man, you fly, and honestly I think flying is pretty fun, but it's limited by the amount of speed that I can have. I'm not really faster than if I was running, and of course the height limit makes flying not feel as impactful as it could. Making flight better is as easy as raising that ceiling and the roof, and of course making it feel a little faster. And I understand that they have mentioned before that there are problems with doing that because the game might not load as if you can go faster, and the world limit is kind of set in stone, which sucks, but I really hope that they could rework it in a way where that's not as much of a problem. And the height limit is probably for a similar reason that they can't fix that. Like, getting up above that height limit might break the rendering of the world below. If you go too high, I'm sure there's like a fucking cliff that just drops off the face of the world. I'm sure it's an issue with the way that their skybox works, is what I'm trying to say. I'm certain that everything that you see in the distance isn't completely rendered, and getting up above a certain height might break something, and it's a shame, really. The other most common form of movement in Marvel's Avengers is, of course, grappling around, whether it's by grappling hook or bow and arrow or stretchy hand. And there are only certain grappling points that you can use to traverse in this method, which is kind of unfortunate. You can use the grapple to get up to a certain level or to swing off specific, very incredibly specific objects in the world. And that's going to be a huge problem for when Spider-Man comes out, because he can just fucking swing on most objects and buildings and shit like that. So you either need to rework this grappling system for Spider-Man, or Spider-Man's gonna feel slow and clunky and bad to play. The grappling hook just feels too fucking limited as it currently is. I don't find enjoyment from swinging around on things because there's not that much to swing around on, and it feels like I basically just teleport. It feels very similar to Kate's teleport in how you go from the bottom to up. It feels bad. I don't like it. Speaking of Kate, her teleport is basically, in my opinion, just a grappling hook. It might be a little faster, and if you disagree, that's 100% fine. Like, you're allowed to like these things. I'm just tearing them apart because it's you know, part of what I do. I don't actually hate any one of these things. I just really know that they can be better, and should be, because my overall enjoyment of the game would only go up if it was more fun to move around. Now, our more athletic types can get around in a much more unique way, and I actually kind of really enjoy wall running as Hawkeye and Cap. Of course, there are issues present with wall running in that I think it's not that useful. There aren't many opportunities to wall run in ways that make it feel engaging, and on top of that, sometimes when you go to wall run, you end up climbing up the wall and looking like a fucking idiot and losing all all of your momentum, which is just not fun. That's not engaging at all. And Captain America has a very unique double jump, which I actually think is really great. It sucks that there's one animation for it, and he does this weird flip. And the animations could be a lot smoother for when he double jumps into a thing that he grabs, but overall I actually really enjoy the double jump, and it's one of the things that I have the least problems with. And finally, we come to the Hulk's Traversal. The Hulk gets his speed from jumping, which is very flavorful and accurate. However, they just don't feel that impactful, I guess. The Hulk should be able to jump fucking high, right? Like, he should be able to propel himself so hard off of the ground that he goes for ages, right? But it just feels like a little hop. It feels like he's doing a little, like he's skipping along. It feels really weird. I don't love it. The jump could have a lot more power and a lot more speed behind it, and that would very much improve the vibe of playing Hulk, in my opinion. And none of the things that I've really pointed out are super controversial, that's for sure. Like, this is something the community has agreed upon is lackluster in this video game, and I agree 100%. I just wanted to bring my own thoughts and ideas to what we can do to improve these things. I really do think that reworking the traversal system would be incredibly worthwhile and just improve the game in a way that I don't think a lot of addition to the game will do. You can add endgame content, but if it's not more fun to move around to get to that endgame content, I might not be as interested. I love this game, and I would really love to see it improve, especially in just simple movement. Let me grapple off of more things, let wall running be more common, let wall running not occasionally absolutely break my momentum. Give Cap's jump some extra oomph, give Hulk's jump some much needed extra oomph, and overall just give me more freedom to move how I want to move. Give me a higher ceiling to explore the top of higher buildings. Make ledges and that kind of thing feel less like I'm being forced into an animation when I'm near them and more like I'm actually climbing the thing like a cool guy. That is a hard thing to work around, and I understand why they did ledges the way that they do, because if you go up to a ledge and you like cling at it and you just miss, it makes more sense to have the superhero be nimble enough to climb up over that ledge, right? But sometimes it's not what I intended to do, and sometimes it feels like I'm being pulled in a direction I didn't want to go, and like, I don't know how to really describe the vibe that I get from the way ledges work. It feels like I can almost see the code that they wrote when I'm on a ledge that just says, go up ledge, right? It feels overly simplistic in the way that the traversal is currently built, and I would love to see it overhauled, and I think it would be the biggest addition to the game for me, other than, of course, like, just more shit to do and more diversity in enemies. But that's been talked about to death, and I didn't feel like I needed to cover it. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys have any crazy traversal options that I didn't even consider? Do you guys have strong feelings one way or the other? Let me know, please. I'd love to hear it. As always, feel free to ask me anything in the comments. This video was actually inspired by one of you guys just asking me what I would think to do to improve the game. And this is the first thing that came to my mind, so I just decided to talk about it. Did you guys know that this subscriber number of percentage of people that watch my videos that are subscribed is getting slowly closer to 90%? Can we get there, boys? That'd be hype. That'd be so cool. And seriously, like, thank you guys a whole lot for watching my shit. It means a lot to me. It's been really cool this past month or so to see the growth. I'm fucking still finding it hard to believe, but it's really awesome, and I appreciate you guys a lot. We're almost at 500 subscribers. That's crazy. Like, a month ago it was at 150. What? Follow me elsewhere if you want to. You don't have to, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.